This is Abe Friedtanzer from Awards Buzz, and I'm very excited to be speaking with Jack Lowden about slow horses. How are you, Jack?
I'm good. I'm good. How are you?
Good, good. I like watching you in the show, but I feel like wouldn't it be nice if River just had like a relaxing day and got to just, do something normal and not have to run for his life for once?
Yeah, it would be quite nice. Um, I mean, I think it's his normal state of being, unfortunately. I think it's more than a 9 to 5 job, working for MI5. Um, I would like to see him on vacation, more out of interest, just to see if he'd actually like it. I'd imagine he'd hate it.
Or he'd manage to find something going on, even if there wasn't something. How familiar were you or are you with the books and, just the whole arc of this character?
I wasn't before I was sent it. I wasn't aware of it at all, and then I've tried to stay away from the books until we're making whichever book. So to try and read it as we go along. But the books really are quite magnificent. The series is amazing, but I think like anything, if you go back to the books to see where everything came from, it's quite cool. And then they read as filmic as well. So it makes total sense that someone made it.
I'm always struck by how 6 episodes each season doesn't feel like a lot, and they're not even very long episodes. Somehow there is, again, a lot of running, a lot of stress, a lot of, senseless death, yet somehow some of our favorite characters manage to survive.
Yeah, and that's what's so brutal about the show is that like no character is safe. It's almost like Mick, couldn't think of other ways to get rid of characters other than just kill them, which is quite shocking, but it keeps everybody on their toes. Yeah.
I like that, when River is presumed dead, the first thing that happens is that his, computer and desk are taken over. Like that's the main thing someone has to do. Don't worry about mourning or anything. Let's just make sure we get his good stuff.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's very administrative. It's yeah, it's very cold the way that they're all treated. Yeah.
You had very little screen time with Gary Oldman in this season. What is it like getting to work with him so much and then really just so little this time?
Yeah, it's I'm not gonna lie, it's not fun. I want to work with them as much as I can. But in this one in particular, when I did, um it's one of my favorite scenes we've ever shot. And actually in the final piece, as a viewer to watch it, I just think it's so gorgeous and it feels so earned. And it's just the whole father-son kind of thing that's developed between the two of them is really beautiful. And I loved what they did with that last scene. It was gorgeous.
And it's of course nice to see you sharing a lot of scenes with Jonathan Pryce, even if the first scene of this season is quite stressful and unpleasant. I've been impressed with Jonathan. I mean, he was also in, other in Three Body Problem and The Crown last year, representing a lot of the Emmy nominees for Best Drama Series. What can you say about getting to share scenes with him?
It again, just it's fantastic. I think Jonathan is so experienced. You know, it's basically just a case of soaking it up with him. But he cares so much still. He really does care. And he has really interesting ideas when we're doing scenes as well. He's not you'd forgive him for just sort of turning up and grabbing a paycheck or whatever, but he really doesn't. He turns up and he has ideas. If he feels that the scene isn't going as well, he knows how to fix it. He's wonderful, yeah.
I think he's someone who also plays a lot of very old characters. He's, I think, younger than we all think he is because he's very good at,
Yeah.
at seeming like he doesn't know exactly what's going on in a lot of his parts.
Yeah, he does it very, very well, but believe me, he knows what's going on. Oh, he's sharp. Yeah.
Well, speaking of sharp, Hugo Weaving is someone who I've seen in a handful of things who strikes me as a little terrifying just in general because of the roles he tends to choose. Tell me about what you knew of him before this and working with him.
I mean, Hugo is the complete opposite to the characters he plays. He's one of the warmest actors on this set. He's such a sweetheart. Um, he's iconic. The roles that he's played. There's no other word than iconic. Um, but you wouldn't know with him. He's such a normal man. And some of those scenes that we had to do together were mammoth. In the context of slow horses, they were long, long, long scenes. And we shot that one in particular where they meet in that restaurant over a couple of nights. And it was just wonderful. It was just great fun. And just how much how much joy he takes in playing a bad guy as well is really quite fun.
Did you know about, we should just spoiler alert for anybody who's made it this far into the interview but hasn't watched the whole season. Did you know about what was going to be happening with that relationship from the start of the season?
Oh yeah, yeah. No, I knew. And it's something that I wanted to find out as a viewer, even is who River's family are. I still really want to meet his mum as well, to be honest. His mum sounds like an interesting woman. She sounds terrible, a terrible mother. Um, but I think it's always really interesting when you see where who a character comes from. And I think River kind of because River knew he didn't know that he was told that his dad died in a car crash. And the way that he takes the news and just suddenly turns up in front of his dad, I really love. He's sort of like, all right, you're my dad. It's great.
Do you think audiences figured it out ahead of time?
I imagine some did. I think Slow Horses has a lot of smart viewers. I'd imagine they probably did. Yeah. But I think it's still just as delicious.
It's nice also to know that we have at least two more seasons coming, which I feel like is a rarity now in television, just to be aware of so much more. Do you have any sense of what's ahead or anything you can share about those seasons without getting in trouble?
No, you know that's impossible. No, I there isn't really anything I can share other than the fact that we've finished number five and we're currently starting number six, and we're just so excited that we shoot it very, very quick. It seems like we just started it, last year, and already we've got five of them in the bag. So we're just amazed at how quickly the team get it together. Um, and I think I'm just grateful that it's still interesting and it's still fun to do. And there's so many different ways where you can take them all. It's a wonderful piece and it's completely unique. And I think that the possibilities are endless with Slow Horses, I think, in many ways.
I think it's also just got a new big audience thanks to the Emmy Awards. I'm not sure what was happening with season one and two that all of a sudden season three now, won for writing, which is great. And then I feel like season four premiered like exactly at the right time that anybody who was waiting for the Emmys, the right time to watch. What do you think it was about season three that really got people hooked that way?
We have no idea. We've worked very hard from the beginning, and one and two are brilliant. It's literally a mystery to me how it worked. How all of a sudden everybody loves it. I think the Emmys did make a difference. These things generally do, which we're all very thankful for. And when I went to them, it was kind of gobsmacking the amount of people that came over to me to tell me how much they loved the show, and some of the people that did as well. It was jaw dropping. So it's fun. It's quite a unique journey with it. It's fun.
Do you think that this show hits different with American audiences for some reason?
I think it does. It seems to be doing. It's so British, this show. Yet it seems to be. I think because it's so British, I think that's why America kind of likes it. It's exotic, so to speak. But there's a dryness to the humor that I think Americans sometimes get a bad rap for not having the same sense of humor as Brits. But I think a lot of them do. So it's some things hit a chord, and I genuinely don't know what. I've got no idea. But like you say, number four coming out when it did, it seems sort of fortuitous. So no, we're just so grateful that people love it.
Well, there's no signs of slowing down, of course, with this. Do you feel like this is going to affect your roles going forward? You're always going to have to do a lot of running in stressful situations, or maybe you can be like a nice romantic comedy lead on the Vacation River Would Hate.
I mean, I'll do whatever as long as the people involved are great. Um, I it's strange, I've sort of become less picky about what I do because I've sort of fallen in love with what I do all over again, because of this show and found a different way of working that I never had experienced before. So, no, I mean, it's up to my body how much I can keep running.
I was looking back at your credits, and there were two films that I saw at Sundance different years that stood out to me. very, very different films. 71 and Fighting with My Family. I feel like
Right.
certainly both physical roles in different ways, I think. But 71 especially is a film that I think is very underseen, especially in the US, but really just stuck with me as, possibly even more stressful than Slow Horses, which is an unusual thing to be able to say.
Yeah, 71 was mad. I think it actually had its 10-year anniversary last week, 71. Um, but that was a brutal film. And it was very frenetic and mad to shoot it. Large part of the film was basically one big riot. But there was a lot of military training and physical training for that. And then fighting with my family was a different kind of training. I had to put on about 2 stone. So there's been a lot of things that have been very physical. But I love doing that. It makes, it's an excuse to go to the gym. I'm being forced to go to the gym, because otherwise I just won't go.
What else are you working on besides next seasons of this show?
Well, this year's been quite fun. I've done John McClane's next film, who did a film called Slow West, which was also at Sundance. Me and uh, Tim Roth, which was great fun. And then I've done Jim Brooks's new film, first film he's done in years, with Jamie Lee Curtis and Woody Harrelson and Emma Mackey, which was shooting in Rhode Island, which was mad again. So it's been a nuts year, it really has.
Since this is awards buzz, we always like to know who the people we're talking to, what they enjoy, whether you've seen a film or a show or performance recently that you feel like is particularly awards worthy.
Um, I saw. I've seen quite a lot of the films already. I saw the Apprentice with Sebastian Stan. I think that's the best performance of the year so far for me of male actors. I think it's magnificent what he does. I think he is just a phenomenal actor anyway. He's also, he acts. I know that sounds stupid, but he acts, he plays characters. He's not just sort of relying on his looks or anything like that. Um, I think it's a wonderful performance, obviously about something very topical, but um, take that away, it's just a magnificent piece of acting, really phenomenal.
Had a chance to see A Different Man.
No, I've not. I really want to see that. I want to see Conclave. I've not seen Conclave yet. I love the director Ed Berger. So um no, I've seen, what else have I seen? I've seen The Substance. Substance was cool. That was mental. Absolutely mental. Um but I've seen all kinds. I even saw the endurance documentary. I think it was National Geographic or whoever made that, about Shackleton, that documentary film. That was amazing. Absolutely incredible about the finding of that wreck. Um, yeah, no, really, some really like mad stuff. There's the big ones I can't wait to see as well. Um, and also our film, The Outrun. That's a very good film. But
Another
then,
Sundance pick.
yeah, Sundance. Yeah, that's right.
Good stuff. Well, thank you so much, Jack. Looking forward to seeing more miserable river content in the future, and thanks for doing it.
My pleasure.